there's this stigmatism around men speaking out.
I could have come with you, but instead I'll be swinging around a pole. I want a hot chocolate because I want a hug at the end of the night.
I'm as good as hot chocolate.
You are, love.
A hug from me as good as hot. There you go. It's the first time in a long time that I've sort of felt quite a bit of it.
Now then, everyone, this week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and it is our mental health podcast. But we are going to talk about the theme, which is anxiety, because I know a lot of us at some point in his lives feel a bit anxious, but it's when it gets chronic, like it does with me. And to be honest, we've only got about half an hour maximum to record this podcast because I have taken my sedative tablets at the end of the day, which helps relieve my anxiety. But there's many other things other than pills. But I'm just honest about what I have as well. So, Dan, whilst I know I'm giving you anxiety with my drinks on the table whilst we record this.
It is, and that's, that's a good way to start it off because, we all, you said before that you're a bit, with dyspraxic, aren't you? So she has a tendency just to like knock things over. Her coordination skills sometimes are a little bit off, aren't they? So the fact that we sat here with all this electrical equipment and you've put down a drink of water and a drink of juice, all right, pop.
Squash.
Yeah, juice.
Squash.
Yeah. She's put that down. My anxiety levels are through the roof because, look, here we go. Just be careful, all right, because she's likely to put it down, knock it, put it half on a mat, put it onto a wire and it slips off. I can see the future. I can see the future with you sometimes. But yeah, it's Mental Health Awareness Week, like you say. We're talking about anxiety today. Back in the gym, that's one thing that would make me anxious about going to the gym.
Yeah, because it is the mental health gym.
Yeah. So it's, and just as we start off, let's just make it known that we are not medical or mental health professionals. And it is just our life experiences, really, innit, of how we've been with ourselves or what we've seen from other people firsthand.
Aye, and talking of other people, have you heard of Professor Green? He's that rapper guy. Yeah. So he talks a lot about mental health, especially since he's become a dad, and he lost his dad 15 years ago to suicide. And he were talking today, I heard him, and I thought he had a very good point because mental health awareness is all good. But he said that sometimes, whilst it's important to be vulnerable and talk about your feelings and be open, he said also we need to talk more about resilience, like the bounce back and the kind of a tougher approach sometimes to mental health, rather than just wallow in talking about your feelings all the time. He said we actually need to talk about, okay, well, yeah, that was rubbish and we can wallow a bit, but let's bounce back from it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really good point, and it's quite brave to put because sometimes you want to just talk about mental health and be really earnest and really sad and low. But actually, I think the most powerful part is using an issue you've got and then using it to be your success, that like struggle to success kind of story. What's your view?
I agree with that because I think like obviously there's this stigmatism around men speaking out. You see all these words, speak out, speak up, it's okay to talk, all this kind of stuff, which I think is great to encourage men to do that. But then once they do, what happens? What do they do? What where do we go? Because sometimes some people will sit and they'll, like I say, they can pour their heart out to you. They can tell you all the troubles and trials and what's going on in their life. And it's good for people to listen, to have somebody to listen is absolutely amazing. But then what do you do from there? Where do they go? That's the thing. And that can lead into lots of different things. But I think at the moment that's the problem, is it's all right telling people to talk and, you've got a friend in everyone. But sometimes you do need somebody that has had experience or knows what the end game could be. Like, for a certain situation. Not the end game, because obviously that's down to you, I think.
Yeah, and I think you need someone to help bring you out of that wallow, So I think like group therapy, for example, a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. For me, I've always liked it, but it has to be good group therapy. So I like it because there's not all the pressure on me to talk if I'm in a counselling session and it's one-to-one. I find it a bit intense. Whereas groups, I like to hear other people's stories, but they have to be good at group therapy. I always think they should be led by professionals who actually like bring people out with hope, rather than just letting people each week wallow on how misery and like bad their life is. Whilst that might make you feel good at the time sharing it with everyone, I don't think that can always do stuff. It needs to actually have like an aim that what we're going to do as a result. Let's look to the future and how do we do this? And I think sometimes you have the danger with groups that it just becomes a kind of like sob fest.
Yeah, it could be, but like you say, for some people that might work, and for others it probably won't. And I know for me that I once went to a men's mental health group. It was run by Rugby League Cares, and it's the offload program they call it. Obviously, anybody that knows rugby, you do a pass. It's called offloading, and obviously offload's a great thing to say for mental health. And what it was like a 10-week program, and they had 10 different like rugby stars, if you like, ex-players that spoke about their mental health through the years and what they struggled with. And there was some really horrific stories, to be honest. And I remember like the first like 2 sessions, I thought, do you know what, this ain't me. I don't want to sit here with 15 strange men talking about what's going on in my life. But then by week 3, the bond that we'd got with each other, just by listening to a few people's stories and sort of thinking, do you know what, that's how I feel. Yeah, I will like that. All right, I'm not on my own. And then as time went on, we started to talk to each other, bond with each other, bond as a group. And then I found it really good. And I think it's because everybody else sort of bought into it as well. But then towards the end, instead of it being, oh, this happened to me, or this is how I felt, it was, well, this is how I coped. What did you do? All right. And that's how we sort of finished it like that, which I thought was really positive.
Yeah, I think that sounds really good. Like the AA, they do the 12 steps to recovery, don't they?
Yeah.
And I've not done that one because it wasn't alcohol, but I have done, it's the Christians Against Poverty one. And that were similar to the 12 steps. It's based around that, but it is faith-based, so it's not for everyone. But it's very similar to get you out of addictions and different bad habits. It can be like, not just bad habits, but like really bad habits where it's that habitual thinking and acting and harming yourself in some way, whatever that may be. But I really liked that because maybe it's just me, but I like a bit of structure to things. I like to know what's happening each session, what I'm going to be doing, what I'm working on, and then you get to explore different parts of it. I don't want to just kind of wallow for 12 weeks.
This is making me anxious now because I'm thinking that's all I want in our daily life, but you will give me no structure whatsoever because you stress me out. I am timekeeping is one of my issues. If I say I'm going to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, then I'm there for 10 to. With Sophie, on Sophie time, it's like we've got half hour, love. Sophie, we've got 15 minutes. Sophie, we should have been there 5 minutes ago. And it stresses me right out, doesn't it?
Yeah. But you see time as structure, whereas I don't see time as structure. I like to have themes and a goal, and I just depends how long that goal
Your goal is to
takes.
get there on time. That is what your goal is. That is what your goal is to get to an appointment. And then we're not talking stupid stuff here. We're talking like, baby scans, stuff like that. We'll rock up 5 minutes late and she rocks up like it's not a problem. They've not got a time schedule to keep it out like that. It's like, oh yeah, sorry, I was too busy looking at fruit and veg.
This is an excuse, but so it is an excuse because I've just said but. It is a thing of dyspraxia as well, is you have no like time or spatial awareness.
Yeah, but you have me nagging you.
Yeah, but that doesn't give me
matter,
a context.
That doesn't matter.
No.
So
I can just see as you're getting redder in your face.
Anxiety then. So does it not? So if you're late for something, does that not cause you anxiety?
It depends what it is. If I'm making you late for something, that does, because I can feel your anxiety. But when it comes to me, not really. It makes me anxious. Sometimes it does if it's for work or something, but it's more, it makes me anxious if I haven't done, I have real rigid tasks that need to be done. So no matter what,
you do.
On a morning, I have to do my workout for at least half an hour, and then I have to take the dogs on a walk, and I have to clean around, and then I have to write a bit and have my breakfast. And there's like, I'm a bit weird. There's like certain things that it feels like I can't leave the house until I've done that.
You get really stressed, don't you?
Oh yeah, if I haven't worked out or taken the dogs out and I've had fresh air, I'll get really stressed, because that's my time to like sort out my head in the morning and get myself on my A game. So if that's missed, then that does make me really anxious. But then that's the problem as well, because I can't miss that. So even if I've got an appointment, I couldn't cut a workout short. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I know, and I think I realised that at some point, like when I was saying to you, "Oh, come on, should we do this, or should we go here?" And then I'm thinking, "What's wrong?" And you were like, "Yeah, but why can't we do this then?" And I'm thinking, "What's wrong with her?" And then I realised that you've got to have this time to do this.
Like on Saturday, so because I really wanted to see my dad, I missed the park run, but it still made me anxious, because now I've set myself on a Saturday I do park run at 9 a.m. So that in my head is ingrained. So it's really weird little things, like tonight I know I've missed Zumba Strong, and there's certain little crutches in my week.
I actually, because we had an appointment, we had to go sort some stuff out for wedding, and I actually thought to myself, I'm sure you should be doing something at the thing tonight. And I thought, I wonder how she's going to feel about this. And I didn't mention it, because I thought if I mention it, if you forgot, I thought, shall I say something? And then I thought, nah, because it might just stress you right out.
Yeah. I've had to like go to myself, okay, well, you'll laugh at this. I'm doing some maypole dancing tomorrow, so that'll have to replace it.
Maypole dancing?
Yeah, because I'm involved in lots of women's community groups, and
hold up a minute.
Yeah.
When are you doing this maypole dancing?
In the evening.
Oh, that's good, because I'm busy.
Oh, what are you doing?
Tomorrow evening?
Yeah.
I've got to go to Toad Hospital.
Oh, yes, you do. Oh, I could have come with you. Yeah. But instead I'll be swinging around a pole.
Instead,
and not pole dancing this time. It's
I'll
with
sit
ribbons.
with my own anxiety in hospital on my own.
Oh no!
You're more pills on. I'm joking.
Whilst I skip around a maypole.
Yeah, I'll still do what you want to do.
So I've had to like soothe my head in that. Is like, okay, tomorrow night I'll do that instead of my normal routine. But I am learning to be a bit more flexible with my little routines, because before I met you, I was even worse. So because I was just on my own at home, I could make my own routine. So like Tuesday night would be yoga night, but then you'd have the same thing in the morning, and I'd be a bit too rigid where everything was like timed, like in terms of my exercise and stuff. All right, look, he's so bored of exercise.
No, I'm not. I'm just
bored in the gym.
I'm shattered.
You are. You've had a rough week, haven't you, love? But again, I've learned to be more flexible. But then, do you know what I've realised? And this is a point. So I used to do certain things on a night. I'd have to have like my hot chocolate thing before bed. But since I've met you, I don't. And I thought it's because I didn't want it. And it's not that. It's because, and it sounds really sad, because we hug in bed. That gives me the comfort I need. I don't want a hot chocolate, because I want a hug at the end of the night.
I'm as good as hot chocolate.
You are, love.
A hug from me is good as hot. There you go.
And I literally used to have like a pint of hot chocolate until I fell asleep.
Be careful what you're saying. They'll be queuing up for hugs. Cheaper than hot chocolate. It's a fortune these days.
No, but you give a good hug, love.
Yeah. So, I suppose, like, obviously, a couple of little bits there about what causes me anxiety and what causes you anxiety. And then it's like how you deal with it. So if it doesn't go right for you, if I do put a spanner in the works and somehow manage to muck up your day, your regime in the morning, how do you cope?
Oh, I just have to try and get on with it and just focus on writing or something. So you'll notice when I go to my phone, anyone who knows me knows I'm not texting them on my phone because I never text back. I'm so rubbish at communication like that. But I am always writing on my phone, and that's like in my notes. I'm always writing on my phone or in my laptop or whatever. What about you?
Do you know what? I don't know, because obviously if I'm late, then that just stresses me out until I get there.
Yeah, I can tell. I hate when you're late.
And then once I get there, if it, 9 times out of 10 things are all right, so I just move on and I'm okay. But up until that point, there's not really nothing that can, unless I message somebody and I get, so like we had a meeting today and we were late because we're on sofa time again, and I messaged and just said, we're in a meeting, we'll be about half an hour late. And they were like, yeah, no worries, mate. And then I put it sat nav, the address, and I were actually going to be 10 minutes early. So I thought, so that saved me bacon. I just chilled out straight away then, and I were all right. And then as it happens, we got there and they were late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, it's just, you've just got to try and manage it at the time and not get too, what's the word, like too sort of worried, I would say, about it, because, but I'm all right saying that. We'll be late for something tomorrow.
But what about when it's not just like lateness? So how do you cope if you get really like overwhelmed with anxiety? Because I think we both get a bit sometimes.
Recently, not very well, if I'm honest with you. I've had a few issues over past week, and be honest, they've really got me down. And then it's the first time in a long time that I've sort of felt quite a bit of emotion. But obviously, I got you to speak to, and like friends and family and that have spoken to me, and I think that's it. It's just talking. But for sometimes with me, I've got to just try and put myself into a quiet space and just think about things and try and think it through and think of different scenarios of a situation. If not, the anxiety just, around those situations, it can cause me just to get upset, and then a bit that's why I look so tired, because I've not had the best bit of sleep over the last few days. But yeah, I don't mind saying it's been a bit rough, but I think, like, on reflection and thinking about things, it's just talking more about the situation, and then trying to find a resolution. It's not always easy to find a resolution to a problem, but speaking to other people, they may have had something similar, or may be able to help in some way, or it's just somebody to make you feel like you're being listened to. You know what I mean?
I notice as well with you like to sit and just watch TV for a bit.
Yeah.
I know that's when you need your time just to like offload your mind and just watch TV.
I love, as you know, I love watching like all these American cop dramas and all that kind of stuff, SWAT and others. What watching at a minute, Kaleidoscope.
Oh yeah, we need to get back on that tonight, love.
I love watching stuff like that, and it's what it does. It's like an escape for me. It just takes me into that sort of world, and I chill out, try and clear my mind.
Yeah, but you've encouraged me in a good way, like earlier nights like that.
Yeah.
But also, for the first time, I'm watching like fictional things.
Yeah, because you never did you?
No, I only allowed myself to watch the news and documentaries. So I trained myself to, and I've worked in the past as a journalist, and I still do, and then in the news, and I've made documentaries. So it was all work related.
Yeah.
If I watch YouTube, it's whether to learn belly dance, some fitness thing, some personal training thing. It's always to learn. Yeah. I have to have everything, even my podcast. It's to learn. It's never.
But I've got you hooked, and I know on certain things.
Yeah. And I like it, actually. Like, when we watch some series, it does just help you just go, right, do you know what? I'm going to park all that rubbish and just focus on this.
Because it's not real.
Yeah.
Right? But you get into that world, so you come out of your own space from whatever you're doing, and you go into that world, and you, oh yeah, what's going to happen next? Oh, whoa, and all that kind of stuff. I do anyway. I'm just nuts like that. It's like I love watching Pirates at Caribbean and stuff like that. They like it. They like me go to that. Pirates at Caribbean, Harry Potter, and National Treasure are my go-to films. If I'm a little bit down, then I'll be watching one of them to cheer me up.
I love it. And if you can't see right now, we are in Dan's magical Harry Potter room, aren't we?
It's getting there, isn't it? It's getting there.
There's a lot of Harry Potter in here. I had to do that for my A-levels Harry Potter. So I'm not a big fan.
That's it. Got me ones.
I have got your ones, love.
Oh, I've got my ones.
I ain't got any ones. You've
Bottom
got two over there, yeah. But it is, and like with anything, it's finding those coping mechanisms, positive coping mechanisms. But it's that whole thing, as I know, as someone with an addictive personality. So I now realise as well, because I love watching the TV with you, I can also see if it becomes damaging if that's all you do. Yeah. Is just watch the TV and not do anything. It's like controlling your coping mechanisms as well, so you don't completely just
do you know what?
escape.
I don't watch as much as I used to do, Not now.
No, you don't. I don't think you watch too much at all.
Yeah, I just like an hour or two in an evening, and that's it. Probably just a little bit, and then that's it. But I used to get in, and that bang, I'd be straight on. I'd be like 4 or 5 hours watching TV programmes, one after the other, bush. But now I don't.
Yeah, I was the same with. Yeah, I was the same
with
writing.
Uber driver.
I was the same with writing because that's my escape. So I would literally stay up all night, and it'd be to an extent of I'd be falling asleep at my desk with a podcast on, writing till 3 a.m. in the morning. But all my habits have changed since I've met you.
Well, that's it, because I know that obviously when I first met Sophie and we were staying at hers, and I didn't have a sofa out because she used to sit on the floor.
Oh yeah,
do yoga.
Didn't have a sofa.
It was weird. And she got a TV that you turned it on, and all this dust flew out of it because it probably not been turned on for months. And it's you wouldn't sit down at all. And we got a sofa, and then she would. But now, what she'll do is she'll come and she'll just chill out and she'll sit with me. But you'll have your phone or your laptop with you, and she'll still do a little bit of writing, and she'll watch a bit of a program. Then she gets up and she wanders about, puts washing out, whatever, and she sits back down and she potters about. But you'll get interested watching the programme. Spend time with me as well, but still do little bits of your own thing.
Yeah. I didn't realise you'd noticed I'd do all that.
Yeah, well, of course I do. I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to watch this programme here. You keep distracting me walking about.
It's just as well you're not as empathetic as me, because I literally notice. So when you're feeling stressed, I always feel it. So if you were to be walking around stressed, I'd be feeling it. I'd be like, Dan, sit down. Yeah. Whereas I'm always like, ooh.
No, but I just know that, again, it's when you're with someone, you start to understand their ways. And I'm a firm believer is just let people be. Let them be what they want to be and do what they want to do, as long as it's causing no harm to themselves. So I know that for you, if I said to you, sit down and watch this, stop mucking about, stop doing this, it will cause you...
Oh, I'd be really stressed.
Yeah, more anxiety and stress than anything.
Yeah.
It's like when we went on holiday and you were like, oh, can I go do this? I'm like, well, what are you asking me for? Go do it.
Yeah. Well, it's the same, because sometimes I have to go on a walk or take the dogs for a walk to clear my head. But I know if I were to drag you, it would stress you out. So if you're feeling stressed, I naturally want to take you on a walk.
Well, that's not for me.
Yeah, whereas that wouldn't... You like a walk when we go on one, but you wouldn't want me just suddenly dragging you. You need your time.
Do you know what? I don't mind it now and again, but every day, it do me nothing.
Yeah, we did try, didn't we, at the start?
But it would a walk every day for me, it just started to do me head in a little bit, because it's just not not my kind of thing.
But I think this brings us back to the fact that there are so many different ways to cope and to find like what works for you. And it is experimenting. So like I was saying to somebody the other day, therapy and coping mechanisms and all that is all like a bit like dating. You've got to keep trying until you find the one. Yeah. It's same with therapists. It's the same. Like they always say, date your therapist, not literally don't date your therapist, because then that's power issues. But they were saying it's like, don't just feel like, oh, well, that's not worked, so now it would work. It's just that you hadn't found the right thing for you. So like if someone were to say, come on, Sophie, draw a picture, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that'd be the worst thing for me.
Yeah.
Whereas if it'd be like, come on, Sophie, let's do a boxing class, I'm like, yeah, man, let's get on it.
Yeah. So if somebody said to me, let's do a boxing class, I'd be like, yeah, we're going to laugh.
Yeah.
If they said, let's go for a coffee, I'd be like, yeah, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You like a good chat, don't you?
Yeah, it is. I can chat all day, me love. It is finding the thing that's right for you and the right sort of, like I said, the support. So either somebody there, somebody to listen, somebody that's going to advise you. So it's like, I know that if I get really, really down, like most of the time, if I've got something that I'm struggling to make a decision on, I always speak to my dad. If it gets really, you know what I mean, and I always know. So I've got you when I speak to you. Like in the past, I've always spoken to my dad because I know my dad is a straight talker with me, and he'll sit and he's patient and he'll listen, and then he'll just go, "Well, chunk, what it is," and then he'll you know, and he won't force his opinion, but he'll just say, "Just think about that." And then it gives me a little bit of something to mull over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's because it's from somebody that you trust. So it's like you, when you offer me advice, I take it on board because people that you care about, you tend to listen to, don't you?
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important who you surround yourself with. And my biggest goal for you listening, but also for you, Dan, as I've said, for this week, is to just have some time to take care of yourself. So if you're like Dan and you put everyone else first and you try and kind of sort everyone else's problems out, it's actually, honestly, I know that it sounds like a cliche, inflate your own life jacket first, but honestly, like, you need more self-care time because you care so much, and everyone needs that bit of self-care and that time out just to do what they need to do.
Yeah, but I think as well, obviously, with it being Mental Health Awareness Week, just be a little bit more aware that because people may have a smile on their face, doesn't mean that inside, you know, they're not smiling. You know, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. So just bear it in mind. And if somebody's a little bit out of the ordinary, then you know just ask them, "I hope you're all right. How's things? Need a chat. Just be there. Just be around."
Definitely. So on that note, ride those waves. That's what I always say. I remember my therapist always said, when you're feeling that peak of emotion and you think it's going to get worse and you need to do your addictive behaviour or whatever, you got to get to the peak and then it'll start to dwindle again. And it's true. So ride that wave. Find someone else to ride with as well.
That's right.
Not necessarily a partner, loving partner, but
that's it. We can all surf.
Or whatever. We can all surf.
We can all surf. Yep.
And anyway, if you got itchy feet like me, I feel like I need to go travelling. That's a sign of wanting to go travelling. So I think we need a holiday after all this.
Let's go.
We've been riding a lot of waves.
Right, guys. Take it easy.
Take care and let us know any questions or any comments. Please do just let us know, and we'd love to answer any little questions or whatever's going on in your life. We'd love to hear about it. Yep. See you soon, guys.
See you soon.